All right, good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to this regular called meeting of the Temple City Council. It is about 5 p.m. on June 20th. Is Larry Strickland here? Okay, Larry, Mr. Strickland signed up for the invocation. So please rise for the invocation, which will be led by Liz Caraway, and allegiance, which will be led by Jan Llewellyn.
Please pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, you tell us in Deuteronomy, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. As we gather for another city council meeting, Father, I want to especially tonight extend a call of prayer to our emergency personnel and first responders in every job title and walk they come to us representing. These men and women leave the comfort of their home in the arms of their loved ones each day to just simply do the job they were called to do without the need for fanfare or recognition. But Father, let us, as the people whose lives they protect, stand fast in lifting up in prayer and acknowledging the selfless and brave acts performed by our firefighters and all emergency responders each and every day. May you grant them your almighty protection and watch over them as they use the strength that you have given us to lift up others who are in distress. Fill them with compassion each day as they in turn compassionately fill the lives of the hurting and the suffering. Thank you for the security we feel when they show up and the instant relief knowing that they will lay down their lives to protect and rescue any of us without prejudices. Lord, may they each face the fears that can paralyze head on with the strength and encouragement of their community. May they overcome the struggles that can bring the strong to their knees by recognizing they are not forgotten, but rather appreciated and lifted up. And this evening, Lord, I also want to celebrate the new season. Today marks the longest day of the year and the official arrival of summer. And with that comes the opportunity for breaks and time to enjoy the earth and nature you have created, Lord. As we feel the sunlight peeking through the curtains in the morning, may we also feel your love filling our lives. As we search for relaxation and renewal from the brilliant heat that descends upon us, may we too look forward to where you are calling us to serve in our community. May our summer be filled to the brim with your presence, and may we make a connection to you and each other. And finally, tonight, as the City Council and leadership search for the right answers and solutions to the issues facing our city, may they too find renewal and strength in bringing together the best ideas and problem solving to positively impact the lives of our citizens, both now and for future generations. Father, may they seek the forethought to plan ahead and to use their best resources available today for an even better temple tomorrow. In your name I pray, oh gracious Heavenly Father. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both very much. All right, now it's time for public comments. Any citizen that desires to address the city council on any agenda item may do so as long as you signed up prior to this meeting. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and we have a timer on the displays in front of you. And please understand also that no discussion or final action will take place. So first person for public comments, Mr. Alan Lytle.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Lytle. I live here in Temple. I know you're not allowed to discuss what I'm about to ask, so that's why I'm asking now that item H, which is on the consent agenda, has $1.3 million to spend to get the brush out of Temple. That's a great thing. Item I, however, is $500,000, $500,000+ to watch them do that, is what I understand. So I'm asking if you wouldn't mind someone to vote to pull item I and discuss it so I can understand why we're spending $500,000 to watch them pick up trash. Thank you.
Thank you. So we actually can address that publicly, as long as it's a matter of fact. And what item I is, it's a contract with a company called Tetra Tech. Tetra Tech is the monitor for D&J Enterprises. And in order to get FEMA reimbursement for the storm cleanup, FEMA requires that there be a third-party monitor of the company that's actually doing the cleanup. That is government at its worst, but that's the requirement, and so that's what that contract is for. Yep, I know. Crazy. All right, next is Rucker Preston. Rucker.
My name is Rucker Preston. I work here in Temple. Council, I want to thank you for your leadership, but tonight I just want to thank the city staff for the work that they do. Particularly on May 22nd, the night of the tornadoes and the weeks subsequent following. You all get a lot of comments and sometimes they're not the most positive. And these guys in the room that happen to be here tonight, I didn't know so many were going to be here. I just want to thank you all, the public works, the work that you all did to clean up the debris, the police department and fire department, keeping our city safe. The evening of the tornadoes, we had to call the police department and they were out on our property within less than 1 minute to make sure our families were safe. They stayed on site for an hour to ensure safety of children and families. And it's just work that needs to be said. Thank you very much for the work you do. It's very much seen and appreciated.
Thank you, Rucker. Your comments are very much appreciated also. Mr. Kenneth Harlan.
Hello, my name's Kenneth Harlan. I was here last city council meeting. I was just wondering, I left a 30-page report for the mayor and Mrs. Davis, and I was wondering if y'all got it. The lovely lady over here got it and dropped it on the desk. So I was wondering if y'all actually got my report to look at.
I did.
You did?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's on my desk at work.
oh, did you open it?
I've opened it.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
You bet.
Also a month ago, I talked to the chief appraiser, Billy White, told him his position should be a elected position. He said that wouldn't work out because if he was elected, he could set appraisals however he wanted. Other than that, I was wondering, he should be an elected position. I know other counties have him as elected position. So I'm wondering if the cities have to come together to change the rules to make sure that he's an elected position. Because I told him, being elected and him thinking he can do whatever he wants to doesn't make sense. Because he's only right now beholden to 5 people. He's not beholden to everybody in this county. Let's see. And I remember when I talked about it last city council meeting, I was told that the city does not set the rates for the appraisals. And I know that. I never said anything about the rates. I was just saying, please look into how they're appraising. If you actually look through my 30-page report, you will see why my property is a hot dog, not a steak or caviar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next, we'll move on to special recognitions. The first item under special recognitions is to recognize July 2024 as Parks and Recreation Month in the city of Temple, Texas. I saw Kevin here a minute ago. Come on up and bring any of your Parks and Rec staff with you. Yep.
Well done, Kevin. Well done.
Wow.
Are we paying overtime? for all this? Heck, yeah, you don't know. Whatever. All right, very good. As always, we have a proclamation to read for Parks and Rec Month. So if I may, this proclamation reads, whereas Parks and Recreation programs are an integral part. Is that me? Oh, that's the radio. Okay. Whereas Parks and Recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout the country, including Temple, Texas. And whereas our Parks and Recreation departments are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community and region. Whereas Parks and Recreation programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic disease, providing therapeutic recreation services, and to improve the mental and emotional health of our citizens. And whereas Parks and Recreation programs increase a community's economic prosperity, increases tourism, and adds to the attraction and retention of businesses. And whereas parks and natural recreation areas improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of the air that we breathe, provide vegetative buffers and to development, and produces habitats for wildlife. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and to recreate outdoors. Whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and the city of Temple recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation services. Now therefore, I, Timothy A. Davis, Mayor of the City of Temple, Texas, do hereby proclaim the month of July 2024 as Parks and Recreation Month in the city of Temple, and I encourage all citizens to get out and enjoy our local parks and recreation areas. In testimony whereof, I witness my hand on the seal of the city of Temple, Texas on this 20th day of June, 2024. So thank you all for being here very much. And Kevin, are we going to introduce everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it good now? Mayor, thanks for allowing us to come tonight. This is June and we're talking about July, but July 4th, first council that would typically be in July, we won't be here. And then I thought, man, we're going to be halfway through July before we even get up here. So we squeezed it on. So thanks for doing that. And what I have tonight here is I started thinking about, the theme this year is Parks and Recreation Month is where you belong. Where else would you want to be besides in a park or a rec facility, a trail or a pool? And I started thinking about who do I ask to come up? It looks like we dumped the entire department, but we really didn't. They're still working out there. But I did more this year, which I kind of felt embarrassed is in the past, I've brought more higher level. And I thought, well, the ones that make us look good are the ones that's out there beating the street, mowing, and they're the lifeguards. And as we go around the night, you're going to hear the positions that's with us, and they're the one that's doing all the work. They make us look good. And I just want to read just a few bullets. It's called the 2023 Engagement with Parks Report. 7 in 10 U.S. residents have at least one local park, playground, open space, or rec center within walking distance of their home. More than 280 million people in the United States visited a local park or a rec facility at least once during the past year. 9 in 10 people agree that Parks and Recreation is an important service provided by their local government. And we do thank you for the support for our department, and that's why it's the best one in the state, hands down. So I will pass around the mic. I will start over here with Gary. If you'll just say your name, how long you've been here, and what you do.
My name is Gary Kozel. I'm Parks Foreman. Been here 6 years. I oversee aquatics, athletics, and special events, which hope everybody comes out this Friday to Hot Summer Sounds.
My name is Stephanie Young, Vince crew lead. I've been with the city now 10 years.
My name's Amelia Gonzalez. I'm a first-year lifeguard over at Clark Pool.
I'm Leah Rodriguez. I'm an assistant pool manager at Lions Junction. This is my second year with the city of Temple.
Hi, my name is Matt Waskevich. I am aquatics program coordinator. I've been here for 13 days exactly.
Hello, my name is Jeff Ward. I'm the general manager of Salmon's Golf Course, and I've been here for 14 years.
Chuck Ram, Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. I've been here for 21 years.
Josh Lottig, I am the Summit Recreation and Wellness Center Manager, and I've been here for 3 months.
I'm Mike Mayfield, Division Director, and I've been here a little over 3.5 years. I'm Brianna Salas. I'm an admin assistant at the Summit and I've been here for 3 years.
I'm Letty Ringel and I'm a rec leader to Wilson Parks and Recreation Center, and I've been with the city for 4 years.
My name's Haley Henderson. I'm the athletic assistant with Parks and Recreation, and I'm going on 4 years now.
My name is Samantha Pickler. I'm the admin assistant at Wilson, and I've been here for a little over 4 years.
I'm Holly Lieferman. I'm the special events manager. I've been with the city for 12 years.
Amanda Weckbacher, special events coordinator, and going on 8 years.
Chelsea Butler, special events coordinator, 4 years.
I'm Kathy Patterson. I work part-time at Salmon's Community Center, and I've been here 17 years. 18 years.
I'm Marissa. I'm the program manager at Salmon's Community Center. I've been with the city for 9 years.
I'm Kim Tompkins, special events assistant, and I've been here 1 month.
Hi, Ashley Bolin, special events coordinator, 5 months.
I'm William Reynolds, and I'm an irrigation technician, and I've been here for about 2.5 years.
Donald LaPointe, Parks Maintenance Foreman. I've been here almost 3 years.
Hi, I'm Stephen Drew, assistant GM at the Salmon's Golf Course. Been here 10 years.
Hello, Carl Ragel, aquatics crew leader, 16 years, I believe. I lost count.
David Cobb, irrigation technician, over 26 years.
So Mayor, you can see that got a lot of different people here, different range of expertise. And I told this person I would not do it, but the last person that spoke was David Cobb down at the end. He is the only one in our department that has been here longer than I have. I've been here, it'll be 25 years this year, and it's a race. He's still ahead of me, but anyway, I appreciate you guys taking your time to come here, introducing yourself. I know it took a long time to go around, but it's worthy to just to listen to them and recognize everybody. And if you guys don't mind hanging out until this next presentation finishes, and then you're welcome to leave or stay. You can stay. Thank y'all. Thanks, Mayor.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you all very much for coming and spending some time with us. No matter how long you've been here, we appreciate your efforts. So thank y'all. All right. Next item. Next item is to recognize the emergency personnel for their response to the April 27th, 2024 motor vehicle accident on Highway 36. Chief. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you letting me. We're here to recognize those who responded to the significant and complex technical rescue that happened in our city on April 27th, 2024. These responders that you're going to meet tonight and see tonight showed exceptional bravery and determination in successfully rescuing the entrapped individual that day. Several of those recognized today knowingly put themselves in danger for over 4 hours as they performed that extrication. I believe that this demonstrates what an outstanding staff members that we have here on our city, in our police department, our fire department, our EMS group, and our neighboring departments that came to our aid that day and also help us protect and serve our citizens every day of the year. And so I'd just kind of like to go over the list of organizations first, and then we'll get into the actual individuals. So obviously Temple Fire Rescue, Temple EMS, Georgetown Fire Department, and they are in attendance tonight. Killeen Fire Department also in attendance tonight. Baylor Scott and White staff, but Dr. McGraw already here. Oh, there you go. Okay, awesome. And then Temple PD as well. But also I don't want to leave out those that also made the event successful for us. That was PHI Air Ambulance, which is stationed at our airport. Temple Towing, Ward's Towing, Groans Environmental, and the Athletic Construction, their frames. So
I think what I'll do is Kirby and I are going to move out here. So tonight we're going to present them with excellence points, excellence in service points. But they will also be receiving award bars which go on their uniforms. Some of those members, and we'll read off which ones, will get awards for merit, which means they were in attendance and participated in the event. And then others will get awards for bravery. And those are the ones that were actually under the load in that dangerous collapse area or that dangerous possibly roll off area doing the extra education. So that'll be the two levels that we're awarding tonight.
Very good. I do.
All right.
That's all right.
All right. Okay, now it's working. So, all right. So for Temple Fire for the Merit Award, driver Daniel Meyer, driver Nathan Allred, and Battalion Chief Mike Hanowich. The Bravery Award, Captain Caleb Inman. Oh, okay. Firefighter Matt Kessler. And second. Driver John Small. Driver Derek Snodgrass. Driver Stuart Lappers. I've been told you I promoted.
Tell him you want
Maybe it's
back
maybe
pay.
it's because you're always driving. Yeah, go stand.
All directions, no promotion.
Captain Nathan Franklin. Driver Brandon Fulcher.
New driver.
Colin Mullins. Firefighter Ray Cole. Firefighter Mason Ebert. Captain Lucas Dragoo. And finally, Assistant Chief Kirby Bush. So you gotta give me the point I get that. Okay, so next up is Temple EMS. So bravery award for these folks. Samantha Sable. EMT Talitha Tanis. Did I mess that up? Okay, awesome. I was worried about that one. And paramedic Rick Pringle. Next would be recognizing the Georgetown Fire Department folks, and Chief Sullivan, if you'd like to come up, you would like to come up and help us. So you're in my city, so I'm in charge. I know. Thank you. All right, so first up, Captain Spencer Wood. Driver engineer Ivan Rangel. And firefighter paramedic Jackson Visick. All right, Chief Kavinsky, you want to come on up? So next up will be Clean Fire Department. They'll also be receiving bravery awards. So first will be Fire Rescue Officer Joseph Stiles. It's like we're dancing. FRO James. Thank you. Yes, Esplanade. Congratulations. And FRO Stephen Jensen. All right, and so Baylor Scott and White ER staff, Dr. Maggie McGraw, and she'll be receiving the Merit Award. For those that aren't aware, she did come to the scene. Actually, she was on scene with us, giving us on-site medical direction as we were doing our work. So she was very instrumental in the positive outcome of this event. So thanks. Okay, so next up will be Temple PD, and I'm going to let Chief Reynolds read those names.
So from the Temple Police Department, and there's a lot of names. So, and I do think they're worthy of reading out loud. But if you are present here tonight, please come forward. Officer Emily Labruzzo, Officer Don Swearingen, Officer Andrew Kramer, Corporal Michael Tackett, Sergeant Daniel Vela, Sergeant Brandon Caulfield, Officer Ryan Cabral, Sergeant Timothy Taylor, Officer Justin Smith, Officer Michael Folk, Lieutenant Edward Best, Deputy Chief McNeil Ferry, Lieutenant Gary Smith, Sergeant Tom Richardson, Sergeant Casey Shepard, Sergeant Tom Wolf, Sergeant Walter Stevenson, Corporal Christine McGraw, Corporal Daniel Amaya, Officer Jeffrey Fudge, Officer Alex Tomikoff, Officer William Nasser, Officer Alan Kala, Officer Bobby Cook, Officer Andy New, Officer Brian Pedigo, Officer Carly Quinn, Officer Aries St. Marie, Officer Haiti Carpenter, Officer Chance Newby, Officer Benjamin Shears, Officer Rachel Keenan, Officer Richard Moore, Officer Daniel Kala, I think I read that once, Officer Christopher Littlefield, Hassan Enriquez, Jesse Fugit, Keith Smith, Joseph Fiedler, and Kelsey Kemp. I've been in this work a long time. This event was some of the most heroic things I've ever seen. Fire department personnel, EMS, everybody involved. It was incredible.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I can't tell you, and citizens also, I can't tell you how incredibly proud I am of everybody standing up here. It was definitely a team effort. And without every individual here, we would not have had the outcome that we did as positive as we did. And so I really think these folks really deserve a round of applause and your thanks.
That it?
Think so, yes, sir.
You want a picture?
Unless you want to see more.
Y'all didn't want to take one?
Oh, she's gonna try to get a picture, so. Okay, she does want.
Don't run off.
Yeah, there's an awful lot.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man.
As you guys are wandering out, I always have something to say, and I apologize for that. But whenever this event happened back in April, I happened upon it. I was driving out, heading toward Gatesville, and I'd gotten an email about this, this crash that happened out there, but it wasn't very long, didn't have very much detail. And as I went out that way, as I came up to that 317 interchange, and I looked up and those lights were everywhere and people were everywhere. It was really, for me, it was a proud moment, and it was an emotional moment, because I realized that, that our personnel were out there working hard to save someone else that they didn't know, that they'd never met. And it was amazing to me. And I think I say this at every one of y'all's banquets, whether it's the police officers banquet or the firefighters. I'm amazed that you, men and women, are willing to risk your life and to do the things that you do, work the crazy hours that you do, just to watch over people like me and my family. And please don't ever think that your efforts and appreciation from this city council and through the residents that pay attention goes unnoticed. We appreciate what you do, and we know that most days you go in, you do your work, and you go home. But some days you handle a 350,000-pound tube that could slide off of a trailer and severely hurt or kill someone, right? And we all know that. And I just want you to know, on behalf of the city of Temple and our residents and the city council and the staff, that we see you guys and gals, and we truly, truly appreciate what you do for us, because it does not go unnoticed. And so like I said, on behalf of us, just thank you. And for the families, right? Whenever you have a loved one leave and head off to work, we know that that's not probably an easy situation, and we appreciate you too. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, both the City of Temple employees, but also those other agencies that came in to help. We've needed help a couple of times in the last few months, and we appreciate the camaraderie across the Central Texas area. So thank y'all very much. You're very much appreciated. Okay, we'll move on to the next item. The next item, where am I here? Is a public hearing for a presentation of the proposed community development block grant 2024-2025 annual action plan and budget, including the funding recommendations and notice of third-party public comment period starting June 2nd and going through July 8th. Ms. Chopin.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Brittany Chopin. I'm the Grant Manager for the City of Temple, and I'm here to present the 2024-2025 Annual Action Plan. To give you an overview, in 1974, Congress created the Housing and Community Development Act. Title I of this act Authorize the creation of CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant, which must serve low and moderate income households. The area must be at minimum at or below 51% LMI. Also, August 22nd will mark the 50-year anniversary of CDBG. Just for a token of remembrance and appreciation, you have something small from the NCAA conference that Nancy attended. City of Temple receives CDBG on an annual basis from HUD, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development on an annual basis. As a recipient of the funds, we're required to produce a consolidated plan, which outlines our goals and activities for 5 years. This includes a citizen participation plan and a fair housing plan. In addition, each year, we're required to develop an annual action plan that defines the programs we plan to implement in the coming year, which addresses to support the 5-year consolidated plan. Activities must meet one or more of the 3 national objectives, which are to benefit low to moderate income households at or below 80% of the area median income, prevent, reduce, or eliminate slum and blight, or meet an urgent community development need. Our fiscal year 2025 allocation is $650,413, which is about a $24,000 decrease from this previous year. Our proposed projects are housing improvement, demolition, neighborhood revitalization, homelessness and mental health program, and CDBG administration. For housing improvement, we'll continue to provide home repairs to low moderate income citizens in Temple. Our proposed budget is $129,588. For a demolition program, we'll help eliminate slum and blight through the removal of deteriorating structures within low to moderate income areas of Temple. Our proposed budget is $40,000. For code compliance, which will focus on proactive measures to engage citizens to reduce code violations, the proposed budget is $88,884. For our, homeless and mental health strategic health plan, we'll provide program funding for homeless and mental health strategic plan Operation Rise, which is robust interagency strategic engagement, which provide holistic approach to addressing homelessness and mental health in our area. And this includes the Arbor of Hope Transformational Campus. Our budget is $261,858. And lastly, program administration will be used for personnel and operating training costs associated with managing CDBG. Proposed budget $130,082. The plan adoption schedule is as follows. Public comment period started June 2nd and will end July 8th. Tonight, we're having the first public hearing. A public meeting will be on July 2nd. And the second public hearing and a proposed adoption of the plan is July 18th. The action plan is due to HUD August 15th, and the plan year starts October 1. And that concludes the proposed annual action plan.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Council, any questions?
Noticed there was a decrease. Why was there a decrease this past year?
I believe HUD reviews how much we spend.
The formula-based grant. So when more cities reach the 50,000 threshold, that provides entitlement. There's more cities that are able to get the funding, and then a variety. It's a complicated formula. I wouldn't even begin to tell you exactly, how it's determined, but it does have several socioeconomic factors that go into play. Population, certainly, but also poverty levels, just a host of things. So each year they calculate the allocation for each community that has reached entitlement status, which again is a 50,000 or more population. So it could be a variety of things, including stagnant funding at the federal level, the pie, being split over a larger number of communities, just shifts in, another community could have had, higher statistical, those other statistical areas that go into the formula. So it's kind of hard to say, but it probably is just a result of pretty flat funding and just additional communities being eligible for the grant.
Right, thanks.
I don't think it's anything we did wrong.
No, I'm sure it's not. I just want it all.
Yes. I think we got, Brittany, we got a fairly sizable increase over the last year or two.
Mhm.
So,
Last year was the increase.
so we've had a couple of good years. That's the theme this year. We've had some good years, remember?
Don't forget.
Yes, I had a question on the demolition, about how many houses or structures does that include? And does that include asbestos abatement?
So they do asbestos, lead and mold, abatement. And they do about 10 homes with the 40,000.
Anything else? Item 5 is subject to a public hearing. If anyone wishing to speak may do so. We just ask you step to the podium or raise your hand on the platform. Mr. Lytle.
Came up, Alan Lytle, Temple, Texas, came up last year when we did this again. My problem with this grant is it's just not big enough.
Well, Jessica said.
$40,000. That, you know, unfortunately in Temple, my personal observation, the need is growing faster than the grant. We have 130,000 to help folks get their houses fixed. Unfortunately, probably had more like 400,000 in houses that deteriorated since this last grant was given. Same with the demolition. We have probably hundreds of houses that need demolition, not just 10. But anyway, that the city can, or the grant groups can find other grants to help supplement the 650,000. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Mayor, I could just offer the perspective that we do leverage these funds against both general fund that the council allocates through our general fund budget for additional programming, including additional demolition funds. The council has also allowed us to apply for home grant funds, which helps us to do new homes in place of deteriorated structure. So we do leverage these grants with other both local sources as well as other state and federal grants that are available.
But you're right. There's a huge need out there, and it's hard. We're not keeping up. But okay, very good. Anybody on the platform? Anyone else from the audience? Okay, if not, then I will close the public hearing and okay, very good. No action is required tonight. Next item is the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and may be enacted in one motion. If discussion is desired by any council member, that item can be pulled for further discussion. Council, we spoke about this in the work session. I don't think we're gonna pull anything. Is that changed? Okay, very good. Then, council, at this time, I will entertain a motion on items 6A through 6N.
Move to approve the consent agenda, items 6A through 6N as presented.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilmember Pilkington, and we have a second by Councilmember Grant. Council, please cast your vote. Item 5 passes 5 votes to 0. Next item is to consider adopting a resolution approving consent agenda items and the appropriate resolutions and ordinances for each of the following. One is the June 1st, 2024 special called meeting minutes. Am I just reading I am. I'm sorry. It looked different, and I thought, well, okay, we'll move forward. Sorry about that. Simple man. Y'all don't want me to read the whole consent agenda? Okay. I'm sorry, my brain shifted into neutral there. All right, now we'll move on to the regular agenda. It's the second reading and a public hearing to consider adopting an ordinance authorizing the voluntary annexation of 58.555 plus or minus acres of land and adjacent rights of way situated in the Maximo Marino Survey, abstract number 14, in the city of Temple's East extraterritorial jurisdiction, located along Dairy Road, generally north of Highway 53, identified as all of or portions of Bell County Tax Appraisal numbers 76141, 453-566, and 453-567. Ms. Atkinson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This case did go before the DRC on November 6th, and it came to you guys at the last meeting on the 6th for its first public hearing, and now we're back for a second public hearing due to some right-of-way that's part of this annexation request. So here's a vicinity map. Is this okay, Kelly? Okay, it sounds really loud. Here's a vicinity map. You can see it's out on the eastern side, just east of the loop. And you can see there the highlighted area in the red circle shows the right of way that needs to come in with this as well, thus the second public hearing. So with a municipal voluntary annexation comes with the I'm sorry, I'm totally drawing a blank all of a sudden. So it must be contiguous with the municipality, and that's why we're again bringing in that stuff on the south through the right of way. So it's petitioned by the property owner. We've held the 2 public hearings after today, and we also need to provide written notice to any entities that might have a fiscal impact. And so you can see those listed here. We did the TISD, Little River Academy Volunteer Fire Department, also our Temple Fire and Rescue reached out to Bell County and Clearwater Underground Water Conservation District. And then just a quick note that TISD, usually we send them the notice now, but they don't do a really deep evaluation until later on when there's future development coming in. So the proposed property is they're considering an RV park. So again, that doesn't allow permanent residency. So that also is a limited impact to TISD. So the service agreement, again, it's all these items listed here towards the bottom. I won't read them all, but it looks at fire and police and emergency services, planning and permitting. Obviously, we have code compliance, solid waste services, and animal services. And currently there's no water and wastewater available, but they can request that connection once it is available. Staff recommends approval of this voluntary annexation, and I am happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, any questions for Ms. Atkinson? This time I'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak may do so. Please step to the podium, Mr. Harlan, and or raise your hand on the platform.
Kenneth Harlan, 3550 Dare Road. I was wondering, did y'all get a hold of Eastvale Water Supply? Because the day after the last meeting, I had to pay my water bill since I'm on Eastvale Water. And they said they didn't hear anything about this. And I was wondering also if Miss Chete or whatever from Belton Engineering, who bought the property through her LLC that sold it to the current owner, if she told him that it's on Eastvale Water. Because when I talked to the lady at Eastvale Water, because I see her once a month, you know, go to Greens, get bacon and stuff like that. You know, she said that, well, she was wondering if y'all are going to try to break your contract with Eastvale Water. And if you try to do that, then that's going to be a long drawn out process and they'll be losing funds and everything like that. So I was wondering if Eastvale Water was, because it is their area with a contract, you know, since I'm in city limits, they got the contract with y'all. So I was wondering if they were notified and if the new owners know that they will be on Eastvale Water, because they have different rules for RV parks. It was used to be 1 meter per spot. And when I talked to the lady, the Texas Senate just changed the rules where it's 1 meter per 8 spots. So I'm wondering if Eastvale Water knows if y'all are going to keep their contract and if the Michete from Belton Engineering has told the new owner that she sold her that property to through her LLC of the rules of Eastvale Water. Thank you.
Well, I know that we would not have we wouldn't have any knowledge of whether Ms. Chete had, you know, what she may have told Eastvale Water, and this is simply an annexation process. That they may be. I mean, I have no idea, but we don't have any idea what Ms. Chete may have told anybody. And as far as I know, again, this is just an annexation change. There's no I don't know of any plans to change out the water service. In fact, I would say that they're not. Yeah, that's that. Understood. That question is not germane to this conversation. This is just an annexation. Richard, you're standing up to, after I've said all that, maybe you're going to clear it up?
Yes, the East Bell does have a line, but they have a line and their CCN is 200 feet on either side of their line. So this area is actually in Temple's water.
Oh, okay.
CCN. And there have been discussions about a developer-funded extension of a water main to serve the area to provide fire flows.
Okay. So it's City of Temple water now?
There's
Except
the only water
for
line,
within,
the only water line out there right now is East Bell.
okay.
But it is within
So-
our service area, so the property owner could they can receive water service after annexation from the city of Temple, but they would be responsible for extending the necessary infrastructure to their site. But we do have the legal ability to serve this area, and can do so after it's been annexed and properly platted.
And if, in that, but that would require a request from them, correct? Or is it because East Bell, their CCN's only within 200 feet on either side of the
Right, their CCN doesn't cover, the property, ours
At all?
does. Does the line run through the property?
It runs right along Adams.
So I guess if a portion of the property is within their CCN, but it's fully within ours.
Got it. Okay.
And
Very good.
and we have been in discussion with East Bell. So.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Anybody on the platform? Okay. All right, then I will close the public hearing in council. If there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion on item 7.
Make a motion to approve item 7.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Walker. We have a second by Councilmember Long. Council, please cast your vote. Item 7 passes 5 votes to 0. Item 8 is the first reading in a public hearing to consider adopting an ordinance authorizing a conditional use permit to allow retail sales of all alcoholic beverages for off-premise consumption at 6504 West Adams Avenue, Temple, Texas. Mr. Deckman.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a conditional use permit for off-premise consumption, off-premise sales of alcohol. It was at Planning and Zoning Commission on June 3rd. Tonight is, of course, the first reading of the public hearing for the request. So this is located in West Temple along Adams. You see on the map to the left, kind of in the corner between Adams and Hilliard Road or the outer loop. And then on the aerial photo, you see the existing strip center, the fast food restaurants facing Adams, and then Trinity Catholic High School is located directly behind the proposed area. So this is the existing building. We've highlighted the 2 suites that the business is proposed to occupy. If you look at that top photo, you can see the school peeking around the back, and then the bottom photo shows you a clear view of the school. The other photo on the bottom right shows the existing businesses, the Dollar Tree, and some of the other shops that are in there. There's a solid masonry wall between the retail center and the homes to the east along Brooks Drive, and then to the front, of course, is the Dutch Brothers and Popeyes and Arby's and fast food restaurants. So this is for off-premise sales of alcohol to retail use. It's a package store is what the code calls it. Most folks would refer to it as a liquor store. It does require the conditional use permit in the general retail zoning. So it's an existing retail site. It already has the landscaping, the parking, the building, lighting. It's already been constructed. They're proposing to occupy 2 of the suites. Part of our code for liquor stores does allow for a drive-through window in UDC 5.3.17. They've stated they're not interested and they will not have a drive-through window. Chapter 4 of the Code of Ordinances has a distance protection from alcohol sales, 300 feet, and we're going to talk about that in detail in the next slide. It's in Belton Independent School District, and it is next to the Trinity Catholic High School. So Chapter 4 regulates sales of alcohol near a school, church, or hospital. This is a lot of text, and I'm not going to read this to you. I'm going to try to break it down Notice the blue and the orange highlighting. So 300 feet for a church, public or private school, or a public hospital. That 300 feet does not apply if they have a food or beverage certificate. In other words, it's a restaurant, or if they're a package store that does not allow minors in. Minors are allowed if they're accompanied by a parent. But based on discussions, this business just doesn't allow. They don't want the kids in the business. So minors are not allowed in the liquor store. The 1,000 feet is specific to the private school. It's the same exemption. The package store is exempt from the 300 feet because it's the retail sales and the minors are not allowed. This comes from state code. So our state code or our city code mirrors state law. So that's where that comes from. The key difference really is the on-premise consumption versus the access with liquor stores. There's a few other conditions under subsection A2. Paragraph 5 is the one that's relevant to this request. So public notification was sent out to properties within 200 feet. We did get one notice returned back in disagreement, had a few phone calls and had the response back from the school board president for Trinity High School. And the newspaper printed notice on May 23rd in accordance with state law and local ordinance. So a conditional use permit, and this applies to all conditional use permits, council may deny or revoke a permit when they feel that it's incompatible with the surrounding uses, that it's contrary to the health, safety, general welfare, offensive to the neighborhood, it causes a nuisance, or it's generally just not a good idea. Y'all have that authority to make that judgment call. On the table to the right is the staff criteria for what we look at when we're evaluating, is this compatible with code? The answers to those questions are yes, but I have put an asterisk on the top bullet. Is it compatible with the neighboring property? I recognize that that may not be a universally accepted answer, that that's yes. So appreciate any discussion that we'll have tonight on that. So staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit to allow retail sales of alcoholic beverages for off-premise consumption at 6504 West Adams, subject to the following conditions. They would have to continue to be compliant with Chapter 4, compliance with UDC Section 5.3.17, that there's the site plan is subject to review prior to building permits, and any significant changes to the use of the property shall require approval by city council. So if y'all approve this tonight, you're approving a retail sales. If for some reason that changes and someone else comes in and wants a restaurant, they want to put a Chili's in one of those suites, that would be a brand new conditional use permit. So y'all are only narrowly approving the retail sales. At the June 3rd meeting, planning and zoning voted 6-1 to recommend approval of the requested use permit per staff recommendation. I'll let you know that the applicants, Ms. Betty Lewis and Mr. Richard Lewis, are here tonight to answer any questions you may have. And I noticed that the school board president has also come. So with that, I'll stand by if you have any questions.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Degman. Council, anything for Mr. Degman before we open the public hearing? All right. Alan, you're up. This item is subject to a public hearing. We ask that you step to the podium or raise your hand on the platform.
Alan Lytle, here in Temple. We kind of glossed over it a little bit, but the letter of the law allows this, but the spirit of the law really does not. There's no reason that these two you also glossed over the fact that in that same building is a Dollar General, a salon, and a what's it called? My mind left me. I call it martial arts studio. All things that are related to especially the martial arts studio, to having youth around. Surely we can find some other place to put this and put a more family-friendly business in with these other 3 family-friendly businesses and not have the hassle of it being too close to the private school. And also, if we do approve it, is there actually going to be somebody monitoring the front of the store? Because the law is that they cannot allow minors in. Doesn't say they can't allow to sell them to them. They just can't let them come into the store. So somebody's going to monitor the store constantly to keep the 17-year-old out by checking their ID when they come into the store, not when they try to buy something. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Richard Lewis, Temple, Texas. We monitor ourselves because my liquor license, we have one store in Morgan's Point. We have two in Temple. We had a third that was at the old Albertsons building. We have one downtown across from the annex. We've never had a problem with law enforcement. We ID because TABC does stakes. So they will send in someone that looks, and if they look too young, they have to ID themselves. If they don't have ID, we don't take it at the word. One sale is not worth losing my license. Also, I have two in Cleveland. So, been in business, what, Mom, almost 40 years? Residents of Temple, as my father was. Still live off of Old Waco Road. Thank you for widening that, by the way. So, no, we, Mr. Lytle, monitor ourselves because TABC, if they catch us bidding the.
Please don't talk to anybody in the audience.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
All right.
That's fine.
I'm not used to the meaning, sorry.
No, that's fine. I understand.
But no, we monitor ourselves because if we violate that, I could lose 5 stores. If you grant this with 6, one sale is not worth it. And we also, if someone at the P&Z, it was brought up that people come in there and buy drunk, wrong. We actually, if they're impaired, they don't even have to be drunk. We will tell them to leave. We're not putting in drive-ins, so there's not going to be traffic going behind the building. The traffic analysis stated that on average is 322 visits a day. I wish we got 322 visits a day. So also, there was a comment about traffic. It was brought up at P&Z. I have offered at the front, at my own expense, provided the city gives me their approved plans, I will paint the rest of the fire lane. I will have a right turn in, a middle left turn only, and a right turn out to help with congestion off of Adams. It'll be done after hours per city transportation requirements and measurements. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Renee Rodriguez, and I live at 3401 Pin Oak Drive in Temple. I am the chairman of the board of directors for Holy Trinity Catholic High School. And joining me this evening is Mr. Fred Valle, who is the principal of our school. I wanted to speak this evening and let you know that Holy Trinity Catholic High School, its board of directors, the administrative staff objects to the rezoning request that would allow the establishment of a package store, liquor store, so close to the school's property. In addition, we have a daycare facility just across from us and the Scott and White Pediatric Clinic that adjoin our property. We worry about the potential hazards a store for the retail sales of alcoholic beverages for off-premises consumption could bring to our property or our surrounding area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Before Mr. Lewis speaks again, is there anybody else that wants to speak? Nobody? Nobody? Is there anybody on the platform? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Richard Lewis, Temple. I understand their concerns, but they're not rooted in, facts. We're only open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we were open after the school started. They cannot come in. We signed the lease because according to the bylaws of the city of Temple, we're within compliance. It's hard. All of your business and professional. It's hard to plan expenditures and growth if rules get changed. Does that make sense? So we are within compliance. Mr. Pilkington, you represent us because I live off at Old Waco Lane. I remember reading in the paper about the apartment complex off of Hogan Road. Over objections, you rightfully said you didn't want to override the rules that, because they were within compliance. Council, mayor, we are within compliance of your rules. The clinic, the daycare, and the school are over 300, the closest is the school, over 385 feet. TABC requires minimum 300 feet, regardless of you, if you approved it. The other two structures, they exceed 385 feet. Also, the road, there's only one way in, and it's off Adams. It does not have a road that directly connects to Holy Trinity's driveway. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. At this time, council, I'm going to close the public hearing. Do you have anything else for Mr. Deckman? Nothing? Okay, council, I will entertain a motion on item number 8. A motion? All right.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Pilkington. We have a second by Councilmember Grant. Council, please cast your vote. Item number 8 passes 4 votes yes, 1 vote no. Moving on to item 9 is to consider adopting a resolution to extend the Strategic Investment Zone grant agreement with VKDM Investment LLC for improvements at 103 East Central within the Downtown Strategic Investment Zone corridor until December 20th, 2025, with an option for an additional 6-month administrative extension. We'll also read item 10 in as it's related, is to consider adopting a resolution to extend the March 17th, 2022 Strategic Investment Zone grant with 11 North Main Ventures LLC for life safety improvements at 9 North Main within the Downtown Strategic Investment Zone corridor until December 20th, 2025, with an option for an additional 6-month administrative extension. And item 11 is to consider adopting a resolution to extend the January 17, 2021 Strategic Investment Zone grant agreement with 11 North Main Ventures LLC for improvements at 11 North Main within the Downtown Strategic Investment Zone corridor until December 20th, 2024. Ms. Atkinson.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for letting me combine these for you all tonight, since they're similar in nature. So for the first item, item 9 for resolution 2024-0178. This one is for 103 East Central Avenue with VKDM Investments. So they're, we're asking for an extension to this CIS agreement. They've had some postponements on their schedule due to some delayed material deliveries. We also discussed with them that they've had some requirements change for Texas Historical Commission that they've been working through. They've had some changes in contractor, and most currently they've had a delay from some water ingress into the building that they've been chasing down. So as you read in, this request is for a 12-month extension with a 6-month administrative extension. So basically, we're pushing to get the project complete within 12 months, but we've penciled in an extra 6 that we can work with them administratively without having to bring this back to you all. So that gives a final expiration date on this agreement of December 20th of 2025, so a full 18 months. So we did have an on-site visit with these folks on the 18th earlier this week, and met with their project manager or / superintendent. I think he's wearing both hats. And he believes they're roughly about 3 months to completion. It was looking pretty good. Still some things to address, but moving along. So I did want to share some photos from the interior. Just, I don't know who's had an opportunity to see what these apartments are looking like, but they're coming along. They have, a lot of the interior work done. And then that last picture on the far right, you can see where they've had to cut into some of that already finished out space to try to track down that water ingress issue. So for this one, staff recommends adopting this resolution to extend this grant agreement with VKDM Investment LLC until December 20th of 2025. Again, it has that optional 6-month administrative extension in there to give it that full 18 months. And also we're adding a requirement for project updates every 3 months. So moving along to item 10, this one is for 9 North Main Street for 11 North Main Ventures LLC. So they've had some postponements to their project, all, similar to the previous project, but they've also done some revisions and expanded their scope of work. So like the previous one, this one is also a 12-month extension, but we're asking for that 6 months for administrative extension with a total expiration date of the December 20th, 2025. So this one, again, is needed just for life safety improvements. I did just speak with the property owner today, and he confirmed that the water tap and inspection of the tap was completed last week. And this one is, it has an additional requirement with it. As you can see on number 5, we're asking for the downtown decorative lighting agreement to be signed within 30 days from this resolution. And then also the project updates every 3 months. And just a quick photo just to bring everybody into which building we're looking at. So we also recommend adopting this resolution to extend this grant agreement with 11 North Main Ventures LLC until December 20th of 2025. Again, including that 6-month administrative extension. And this one does have the requirement for the downtown decorative lighting agreement within 30 days and project updates with staff every 3 months. Moving on to item 11. So this is at 11 North Main Street. Very similar to the previous ones, but a shorter project timeline. So this one, again, some revised scope of work. We did meet and talk with them about some revisions to what they were proposing for the facade of the building. So this one is separate from the other life safety. This is for the facade only. So this one would have a 6-month extension. And if we needed to, this isn't my updated presentation, but if we needed to have any additional extension, we would just bring that back to you all. So it's actually not administrative extension. So this one expires on December 20th of 2024. So before the end of this calendar year. This one again is for the facade improvements only. And then it also is requiring the downtown decorative lighting agreement within 30 days from this resolution for the entire 3 facades. And then also requiring those project updates every 3 months. And just some additional photos of those facades. So staff is recommending the adoption of a resolution to extend this grant agreement with 11 North Main Ventures LLC until December 20th of 2024. And then it also is going to require that downtown decorative lighting agreement within 30 days and the project updates every 3 months. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council, anything for Ms. Atkinson?
Kelly, when did VDKM start their project?
Before I was on board with CIS, I think it's been about 3 years, a little over 3 years.
How many extensions have they had?
I am unsure on that.
I feel like we've heard a number.
I
of
think
them.
they've had 2 extensions, but
It's nice to see that they're making some progress. It's
we did.
exciting.
We had
It's
a
gonna be
good site
transformative.
visit. Yeah, it's I think they had some contractor changes and that causes some delays as they move out and move in.
And I think that historical commission issue was a delay.
Yep,
Yeah.
that was an additional delay. So sometimes these projects take a little bit longer
Yeah,
than
I
intended.
saw some activity there today, so it's exciting. We're looking
Yeah.
forward to that completion.
And we've seen some positive movement with them, relocating some of their items, off of the front of their building around to the side so we can continue on with city projects as well. So good coordination there.
Good. Good, very good. Anything else? Council, this is for questions on items 9, 10, and 11.
On item 10, you said that was a 1-year extension with an optional 6-month.
So both, so 9 and 10, the expiration date that is shown is for the full 18 months. We're
Okay.
hoping that they can get both of those projects done, the SPJST building and 11 North Main. We're hoping they can get both those done within the 12 months, but we penciled in an extra 6
Okay.
with an expiration, like we wouldn't have to come back to you guys until that full 18 months.
Okay, just wanted to make sure it wasn't an additional 6-month option after
Yeah,
the
this
December
isn't the
20th date.
I don't know why this is up here. It's making it confusing, but yes, thank you.
The original VDKM grant was authorized by council on April 4th of 2019. And I think they've had 3 or 4 extensions. I hope so.
Anything else? All right, council, I will entertain a motion on item number 9.
I'll make a motion to approve item 9.
I'll second item 9 approval.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Walker. We have a second by Councilmember Long. Council, please cast your vote. Item 9 passes 5 votes to 0. Council entertain a motion on item 10.
Mayor, I move to approve item 10.
Second. Have a motion by Councilmember Grant, the second by Councilmember Pilkington. Council, please cast your vote. 10 passes 5 votes to 0. Council entertain a motion on item number 11.
Mayor, make a motion to approve item 11 as presented by Ms. Atkinson.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Long. We have a second by Councilmember Grant. Council, please cast your vote. Item 11 passes 5 votes to 0. Item 12 is to consider adopting a resolution authorizing an appeal of standards from the Unified Development Code, section 6.7.7.I, to allow an exception to the sign height maximum on I-35 Gateway Subdistrict overlay from 8 feet to 14 feet, 9 inches in height. The sign size maximum of 50 square feet to 119.97 square feet for the property addressed as 4155 North General Bruce Drive. Ms. Atkinson.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is an appeal to the sign standards for the I-35 overlay in the Gateway District. This was heard by Planning and Zoning on June 3rd and now here with you guys tonight. Here's a vicinity map. So we're looking at the Buc-ee's location on I-35 and Loop 363. They already have one pylon sign on the I-35 frontage, and now this request is to add a monument sign on the north side of the property along the loop. And the request is to have a larger sign than what is allowed by the code. So here you can see the Gateway District. It's fully encompassed within that I-35 corridor overlay. It's also zoned commercial, and it has a PD associated with it as well that does not address signage. Our adjacent properties are light industrial and commercial as well. So the current code reads that they can have one of these signs per public access. They currently have 4 accesses. And the max height is 8 feet with 50 square feet for the sign face, for the per sign face. So a monument sign in our code is considered a freestanding sign that has a low profile made of stone, concrete, metal, routed wood planks, beams, brick, just a pretty hardy sign. And the appeal is basically looking at going from the 8 feet to the 14 feet, 9 inches, and then also from the 50 feet to the 119.47 square feet. And just wanted to make a quick note that they could ask for another pylon sign by our code. So staff is supportive of them looking to do a monument sign in lieu of that. And so a little bit of background, that clearly Bucky's is an active and operating business. We all know this intersection well. The site plan isn't, anything binding. It's just clearly to show, where the sign will be located. So you can see up there that it's actually, going to be a little bit more than 100 feet off the roadway and past the first row of parking spaces. So clearly outside of the right of way. Just a few site photos to show some of the signage on site currently. Again, the one on the fence right there is just temporary fencing for the construction of a car wash. And then you can see the one pylon sign on the I-35 side. And then looking at surrounding uses, we have the Niagara Bottling Warehouse, which is light industrial off to the southeast. Looking west, there's some commercial uses. And then looking to the north, you can see a lot of the commercial uses with the fast food restaurants. And then to the east, it's undeveloped and zoned as light industrial. So staff recommendation is to approve the sign height of 14 feet 9 inches and also the sign size of 119.47 square feet. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, any questions?
Ms. Hexy, you said they could ask for another pylon sign.
Yes, that's correct.
Is there any way in this to make it where they couldn't ever get another pylon sign if we approve this one, or could they still ask for that later?
I'm not. So they currently have 4 entrances, and they have 1 pylon sign, and this would be a second sign for an entrance. So technically by code, they could ask for additional signage.
To allow them to ask for it, you could consider it at the time of a future request. I prefer monument signs over pylon signs anyway. And I'm sure this has already been addressed, but the height of the sign, that's not going to be a hindrance for visibility, right?
Right. It's outside of the visibility triangle and
Back
yeah,
far enough.
it's back pretty far from that drive.
Yeah, that traffic around there gets
Yeah.
really hectic, so just make sure.
does.
Council, anything else? Thank you, Ms. Atkinson. Council, I'll entertain a motion on item number 12.
I'll make a motion to approve item 12.
Second.
Have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Walker. We have a second by Councilmember Grant. Council, please cast your vote. Item 12 passes 5 votes to 0. Item 13 is to consider adopting a resolution authorizing a Chapter 380 Economic Development Agreement with Project Astro LLC to construct or cause the construction of and equip a metals foundry and fabrication facility on an approximately 45-acre site located in the Temple North Industrial Park. Ms. Myers.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So as Mayor just mentioned, this is an item to consider approving an economic development agreement for a project that is considering a metals foundry and fabrication facility within our industrial park area. The company plans to invest at least $110 million in the construction and installation of improvements for the project, and also plans to create at least 100 new full-time jobs. Under the proposed economic development agreement, the company's obligations include investing not less than that $110 million in real and personal property improvements in phase 1, creating and maintaining at least 100 new full-time jobs. The company may develop a second phase of the project that would extend over a period of years, and they would be eligible for additional separate property tax grants for the subsequent phase if that meets the additional investment and job creation criteria that's provided in the agreement. The company's obligations also include the commencement of construction no later than 12 months from the effective date of the agreement. And they would also be required to complete construction of phase 1 not later than 36 months from the commencement of construction. They would also commit to completing all infrastructure improvements that are necessary for the project. While constructing the project, the company would also construct a natural gas pipeline extension to the site as well as other overall site improvements that are necessary to serve the project, as well as an extension of Distribution Drive, which is a public roadway. And that extension would be approximately 1,100 linear feet to the same standards as the existing Distribution Drive. The city's obligations under the proposed agreement include providing 10 annual property tax grants per eligible phase of the project. Each grant payment would be an amount equal to a percentage of the real and personal property taxes that the company pays to the city of Temple, as well as the real property taxes that the company would pay to Bell County. For the first 5 years of the agreement, that rebate would be 100% of those amounts. And then beginning in year 6 through 10, it would be a declining percentage. So 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, and then finally stepping into the full taxable value in year 11. We also would be committing to reimburse the cost of designing and constructing the infrastructure improvements that we just talked about, including the gas line extension in a total amount of $2 million. That infrastructure reimbursement would be paid in 4 equal installments, annual installments upon completion of the investment commitment. And then we would also commit to reimburse the cost of designing and constructing the extension of Distribution Drive at a not to exceed amount of $2.5 million, or the actual cost of construction, whichever is less. That is a quick summary overview of the proposed agreement, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Ma'am, counsel, anything for Ms. Myers? All right, there being nothing, I will entertain a motion on item 13.
To approve item 13 as presented.
We have a motion by Councilmember Pilkington. We have a second by Mayor Pro Tem Walker. Council, please cast your vote. Item 13 passes 5 votes to 0. It's currently 6:25. Thank you all for attending tonight's meeting, and we are adjourned.